So hello from Green-Mopeds, and now for something completely different, as they say. So today we are riding something called a Tromox Mino. This is brought into the country by MotoGB. As I describe it, and as you look around it, you'll see why it's called a minnow. A minnow is a tiny fish, and usually small, and this is one of those. It's a Mini-Moto electric, and I guess there's quite a specific use case for it, which would be kids going to college, sort of back of a camper van sort of thing, lightweight. But just before we get into that, so Tromox are a Chinese company out of a city called Artificial Intelligence City, which is an interesting name in itself, I guess. As I said, brought into the UK by MotoGB. They've actually got 3 models, soon to be 4 models, and this is their first bike, entry-level bike, which is an L1E 50cc license, 28 mile an hour little thing. Weighs 68 kilos, which is that the lightest bike? No, not the lightest bike, but nonetheless. 68 kilos, 1.5 meters long. Well, lightweight. Takes a maximum load of 100 kilos. Okay, so yeah, not for 2, made for 1. First thing I'd have to say is the brakes are good. Pretty grippy. Yeah, so comes in 5 colours, of which this is the grey. Nice laid out dash. You've got your modes here, Sport and Eco. I would say that Eco, in a lot of these bikes that do only have 2 modes, you will probably never use Mode 1 or Eco. And that is because it only does 16 miles an hour, flat out. So you wouldn't really want to do that. One thing I would say, I guess, about having modes that only do a certain speed is that you are sort of self-limiting. So I'm in a 20 here, and I know I can't do over 16, so it might work. And in London traffic, where the average speed is still only about 10 miles an hour after all these years, it probably might do. But generally, yeah, 19 in Mode 1E. Okay, so yeah, many people won't bother with Mode 1. Anyway, so it is 1200 watts continuous and 2.5 kilowatts max. 2.5 kilowatts is about 3 and a little bit horsepower. For those of you who watch their other reviews, you'll notice that I came down the same road as when I did the X3 from Talaria. This is, in some respects, a sort of competitor to that because it's similar in size. Well, in fact, probably even smaller, to be honest. I mean, 1.5 meters and only on 10-inch wheels. But anyway, 2.5 kilowatts max. It's got a 60-volt battery, and rightly or wrongly, or for some reason that they will understand, but no one else will. It's 31 amp hour, which is 1 amp hour more than something like a Super Socko TC or TSX. So that's just about 2 kilowatt hours of energy, 1.9, something like that. They say 60-mile range. No chance, I guess I would say to that, unless you're riding it around in eco mode, and you weigh probably 50 kilos. I just don't see how that can possibly be true. Okay. Anyway, that's what they say. Charging is 3.5 hours, which is pretty good. Certainly on par with something like a Super Socko CPX. That does about the same. It is a funny little bike. I mean, one of the things I will say about this is it is still a removable battery, which is a good thing. But to get the battery out, it's a bit of a faff. It's not just lift the lid and take it out. You have to. The lid isn't on a hinge, it's sort of clipped in, and you have to sort of take off the seat, which is the first thing, and then sort of unclip this bit here. I mean, it's not, you know, insurmountable, but it does take a bit of time. Okay, but as you can see, the way it rides, it's responsive. People will possibly dismiss 10-inch wheels sort of by default, but you know, there are other bikes out there that are on 10-inch wheels from NIU and people like that. So it's again not unheard of to have a 10-inch wheel bike. But as I say, this is really for students and you know, young kids. You do see Mini-Moto bikes around occasionally. And if you want to get into the sort of electric version of it, this actually is your only choice. Because the other bikes that they do, Tromox, there's something called a Mino B, which is more powerful. And then the Yukos, which is a 4 kW bike, bigger. And then they've got a sort of Suron stroke Talaria competitor coming, which they showed off at ECMA last year. Okay. In terms of actual pricing, it's not on the grant, but it's £2,300. So, and that's on a sale price. It was £700 more. So that might appear relatively expensive. The others that are around that price, well, I guess thinking about it, they're going to be about 2.8 kilowatts max. Super Socko CUX, for example. So £2,300, sort of a price of a good e-bike, I guess. And you know, it does what it says on the tin. It gets to 30 in the speed that it gets there. I guess it's really about whether you, one, like the size, two, like the small wheels. I mean, you know, smaller wheels certainly are less stable, that's for sure. But you know, as long as you accept that that's the case, they're 90-90-10 size tyres on them, so I guess you are getting a bit of rubber on the road. So yeah, not a lot to compete with it. It would be a, you know, specific use case. But yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to say about it. It's got, you know, two modes. It's got cruise control, which is good. It's got disc brakes. As you can see, it's cruising along at 31 miles an hour. I guess the mirrors could be a bit further out, for me anyway. No rack, so it's a rucksack job if you wanted to actually take anything. But yeah, as what it's aimed at, the people that it's aimed for, it does a perfectly adequate job. So hopefully you found that brief review useful. If you have any questions about it or want to test ride this bike, then please feel free to let us know. You can contact us through all the usual channels, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel for this and other updates. And thanks very much.